Hi, this is Vincent again. Today I wanted to talk about F5 container ingress services, and I run F5 container ingress services in K3S, lightweight Kubernetes cluster, in my daily work to test F5 container services pod. And one thing I really like about K3S is that it is easy to set up, and you don't have to set up Docker registry if you are in a sort of isolated environment, like in Airgap environment, for example. And this article talks about import images to K3S without Docker registry. So like you are in a private cluster environment, has no public access to the Docker hub repository, or you don't have a private Docker registry, you can still run pull container image from your local disk. So this is the steps to export Docker container image, and then you can import the image to the K3S. Then you can deploy the container image with YAML files like below. But one thing you need to be careful is for the containers image pull policy, you set it to level. For example, I have a issue opened with K3S. I run into a insufficient scope authorization failure because I set the image pull policy to always, which is by default pull image from the Docker Hub repository. That it will not work because you are if you are in a private cluster environment, you won't have access to Docker Hub repository. So once I changed the image pull policy to level, it resolved the problem. So today I'm going to show a real example here. So for example, I have this is on my local development workstation. Like I built a big IP container cluster services container image. So this is a image, Docker image I built on my developer workstation, right? So I can save it. I can save this container image to a tarball file, and once I saved the tarball file, I can transfer this tarball file to my K3S, a private K3S cluster environment. So which is here, this is my K3S cluster. So I copied this tar profile to my K3S cluster master device, master load. And so if I use K3S image list to list if I have a F5 container services pod image, I don't have such image, but I can import this image into my K3S. I can import the image into K3S. So as you can see, the output here shows I imported the container image as docker.io library, K3S big IP controller with latest tag. And pay attention to the library, which means it's this container image is a local image in your local library, local Docker library, not stored in the Docker registry, either public Docker registry or private Docker registry. So it's just stored as a local library container image. Okay, so next we gotta change our F5 container services deployment YAML file here. So in the image, we say we pull the image from library, and this container image file. So if your cluster has public access to Docker Hub, normally you would pull image from F5 networks from Docker Hub, and then with your image tag. But here instead, I pull image from the local stored image library, right? And also remember the image pull policy. You set it to lever, which is use the local stored image, not pull image from Docker registry. Okay, so let's apply this. Let's see if we have applied pod. So we have one already running. Let's delete this and redeploy it. So it's terminating. Remember this CC cluster is the existing one. So I'm removing it. So now it's gone. So this one is gone. Let's redeploy it. Okay. create it. Let's get a, okay. So it's quick. So it's quick because it does not need to pull the image from the internet, from the Docker Hub or any Docker registry repository. It's just pulled from the local stored image. And so we can log and see. Right? So starting container ingress services. This is the, as you can see from the build information, this is a build, image build by myself. And yeah, so this is a sort of example, like if you run if you have a container Docker container image and you don't have public internet access to any Docker registry or private registry or private Docker registry, you can just store the local image on your local machine, and so just run the container from the local image, sort of like a air-gapped environment. Yes, so